Jen, nailed it last week when I put the sun up. She threw on sunglasses. I was like, "Good for you for having props available."
I feel like she'll always have sunglasses nearby because her future's so bright. I was bummed. I got to be honest. You did a great job, and Jen's awesome. I was really bummed that I couldn't make it to that live stream. I really enjoy these Sunday live streams a lot, and I like Jen a lot. She's awesome. Very cool person to hang out with and to talk to. So, but you did a good job. You held down the fort, and you guys had a great conversation. So that was fun. I guess we should plug it if you haven't seen it. Go back and watch Kev and Jen talk about. I don't know. Bud and Gamehenge, right? That was that was the most.
Well, we were rewriting Tila's part for the Gamehenge musical on Broadway because she's all in on that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's I thought about that actually afterwards. I like it as like a fan fiction like theory type thing as far as like would it be neat to see with the full blown sets and production, but like the theater nerd in me that understands the financing of actual Broadway and like how hard it was for him to get like Hands on a Hard Body, how much time and went into that and then for it to fail and like his appetite for that. There's just it failed. It failed 100%. It's not even. There's nowhere you could even sugarcoat it. There's not even like, oh, it was no, it failed. There's no appetite for it. I don't know. It's hard for me to see past that. But you're right. Actually, it would be kind of cool to see like full blown. See, Phish fans, man, we're like, we just get the most amazing New Year's ever with the freaking theatrics, everything. We're like, oh well, they could do it even better if they did it like this. What's up, Mr. Plow? I see everybody. Yeah, we'll talk about Dead Mexico a little bit later. SC that Kevin and I were just talking about. Actually, we can talk about that. It is weird that they weren't streaming it, right?
It is. Well, I mean, the Wolf Brothers, all the Wolf Brothers shows are normally on Fans. So, that should have been a given for the Friday night. Last night's show, I mean, OTL stuff has shown up on Nugs. I'm not sure why. Maybe the logistics didn't work out, but I couldn't even find a Mixler. Like somebody standing there holding their phone so I could at least hear it. That Friday night had Rick came out for New Speedway with Wolf Brothers, and then Derek came out for Playing He's Gone. I really want to hear that.
You would imagine that would do really exceedingly well if they were selling webcasts. I could because that's right in that threshold of like, am I spending the money to go to Mexico for it? No. Am I going to throw 20, 30 bucks or whatever to have the webcast of all of it? Probably. I mean, it's interesting enough. And I'm not even that hardcore. I mean, there's a lot of people that I think they financially would have made a lot of sense. I don't know why they wouldn't. Maybe, do you think there's extra costs being like at like a resort or something, like the logistics of getting the whatever? Right. I imagine you need like super high bandwidth, like connections and shit.
Maybe you need Mexican approval or.
Right, like broadcasting laws or something.
But also, like some shows I've seen, Nugs does just audio. They could have done even if the video was an issue. Why couldn't they have just patched the soundboard out into Nugs?
Right.
And ran that,
Right. And now there's nothing. I mean, I guess do they record it for like posterity's sakes or like do they have their own?
Oh, I'm sure that
the audio they have, but they probably didn't bring a camera crew out if they weren't.
Well, maybe aren't there screens in Mexico? Aren't there screens?
I don't know. Because I couldn't watch the webcast.
I feel like the last time, like I've seen that the Phish doesn't do it, but I think that they've had screens like Dead Ahead does, Dead and Company. So you would figure they just recorded.
I don't think there's an issue with the money. I think everybody gives the money to Bobby. They're like, here, Bobby, you get the money. Yeah. Are we is there a lag, Kev?
Yeah, my thing went down for a second there, but I'm back. The signal was dropped for a second.
Must be bad weather.
Right, apparently Oberlo had or however you pronounce that, the three guys.
That's from the other drummer. Oh, that's the band with the other drummer. Who's not the other drummer anymore. That's like it feels like the mistress comes in and then like adopts the kids right kind of thing, and then like Ben's just like outside in the rain, like looking through the window, like I don't know. I'm adding a whole fictional narrative to it, but that's what it feels like to me.
What speaking of birds, there's the rumor mill's been churning about that too.
Yeah, the potential new drummer for Goose. Uh, what do you think about it? So I
Well,
guess hey, John Mock, right, is the latest rumor. Are you high on this? Do you think it's a good choice?
I don't know. The story is that all of the Goose people followed him on Instagram and he followed them.
Right. And normally you'd be like, oh, that's nothing. But the way we all kind of first heard about the Ben thing was when they all mutually unfollowed
He
each
followed
other.
each other.
Like it is that generation, right? Like that's how you figure shit out.
Right. It's a signal. So, I mean, that would be interesting. I guess he could still play with Mike's band because Goose doesn't tour 200 nights a year or anything and still do his other stuff, play with his dad when he
Yeah.
does and things.
No, not the tab drummer. Or are you saying that's another one? Um,
Mm,
no, I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think Russ would do that.
Russ is not interested in that at all. No, but I could see Kimmock doing it, and I think he's a great drummer. I mean, I've seen him with Mike Gorn band and with his dad, but he's like a great pocket groove drummer, and I think he would fit in really, really well with their sound.
Mhm.
Um, Essie, it's John Kimmock or Kimmick, or I've always
Kimmock.
pronounced Kimmock.
Kimmock.
Yeah. Um, he's a pretty badass drummer.
Yeah.
And this isn't official, like they announced anything. This is like people saw some coincidi on
All
social
right.
media, and everybody freaked the fuck out. And
We're in speculation area.
we should have like a warning or like a siren,
Right.
like speculation, rumor mill, rumor
Rumor.
mill. I'm still not kicked this cold. Like I still have a tickle in my chest. I don't know when.
Took me from the 28th till the 12th to get better. I got sick on the going up the 28th. I didn't feel better till the 12th. So that's a good 2 weeks.
I know. I have no regrets going to that show, and I obviously, but I don't know if I'm gonna go to any more MSG shows, man. Every single time, it just fucking knocks me out. Yeah,
Right.
hearsay and conjecture. That's right, Shafty. That's what
Yeah,
we're
you
here
know what
for.
I think part of it might be is Penn Station, like everybody from the whole world comes through Penn Station, and the ventilation system goes right up into Madison Square Garden, probably since it's on top of it.
Yeah, I mean their HVAC problem is separated, but the fact that everybody's coming in through mass transit probably doesn't
Mm-hmm.
help. Hey, I have a fun idea. Well, I have an idea. It is yet to be decided if it's fun. We're not gonna copy him directly, but do you see HF Pod did a draft recently?
I didn't get what it was until Megan explained that it was one of each year because I'm like, how can they put 2023 instead of 93?
Right, but it's like they took turns drafting years of Phish and like to see who would win. I don't want to do a draft, but I was curious if your top 5 years would be similar, or you want to do 3 or 5? How many do you feel comfortable stating
How
off your
many?
head?
Well, it's 5 decades they did, right?
No, let's just do years though. I want to see if
Yeah.
my top 5 years, how it stacks up against your top
Uh,
5 years.
I would go 93.
That'd be your first round pick.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd kick your ass. Oh man.
Oh,
All right,
wait,
fine.
no, I have to pick a first for what? This is like fantasy football or
Yeah,
something?
it's just like regular football, like a draft. Yeah,
Oh.
like fantasy football.
Oh, I would draft 97 as my
Okay,
top
yeah.
then.
97, right. Me too. All right, so what's your second pick?
Huh.
There's
I
2
would
options on split between. So if you say either one, you win. If not, then
right.
you're completely off.
I would say 93.
See, this is where we just we're par from each other. Um 99 would have been a tight third, I think, but I was split between 98 and 95. I think end of 95 is so good. Fall into New Year's, but I'd probably go 98 would be my next one.
Hmm.
You
You
want to do
see, the
number
thing
3?
was, I didn't want to go 97, 98, and then 99 because you're basically saying Phish was the greatest at the end of the last
But they
millennium.
were 100% locked in, and All right, so then let's say the first 4. Well, no, see, you threw 93. Okay, so keep going. Let's say you got 90. We both have 97. Then you have 93. What's your next one?
I would probably go with 95.
Okay, let me ask you this: how many picks down before you get a 3.0 year?
Oh,
How many years were in 1.0?
well, yeah, I don't know if I'd do that because some years like 96, yes, had the Clifford Ball was a big year, maybe in some ways, but I feel like 2017, I would have gone with that over, say, a 96 because of the Baker's dozen.
Yeah. I probably would hit it at number 5. I think after 97, 98, 99, and 95, I would go 17. Okay,
Right.
let's focus on 3.0 then. Sorry, I'm not trying to like grill you or throw you in there,
That's
but I just
fine.
find this fascinating. I think we both agree 17 is probably the first pick of 3.0, but where's number 2?
I think 19.
Ooh. See, this is hard. I
I
think
feel like they really were onto something in 19. They were really firing on all cylinders. You know, they had some fantastic moments that summer. The fall tour, short as it was, and as much as people pan the South Carolina, the other shows were all
fucking really
solid.
good.
Yeah.
Very good. And if you look at them like directly compared to like earlier years, they're really good. I think the problem is that coming off of 17 and even part of 18, because 18 was a great year at times and a bad year at times, right? It was an inconsistent year. But all 3 of those years were so solid that it almost like takes the luster off of 19. Because like I was thinking 15, right, with Magna Ball and that summer tour was just fucking phenomenal. But I think if you do 15 to 19 directly, 19 might edge it out. I don't know. It's close.
And if you wanted for just a second that it could include 4.0, I would probably go 2017, 21,
21. Yeah.
then
And
2019 is what
100%.
I would do.
Yep. I agree with you. I would almost consider putting 21 ahead of 17. I think 17 had higher peaks and it was more special with the Bakers, but 21 was the most consistent, long, drawn out special Phish that we've had since 1.0. Because you think about that West Coast tour and how well first the East Coast Center summer tour was fucking phenomenal, and then it was even better with the West Coast. It was right. That was the right order where they
Yeah, the
started in
West Coast,
Alabama, and then the
right,
West Coast was in the fall. That West Coast was freaking insanely good.
right, that
Probably
fall
the
tour
best
was.
tour they've done in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And
I
then and
feel
yet the people out west still bitch and complain like they don't get good Phish.
right, I feel like that they practiced. I feel like while they were sitting around, they practiced a lot, and when they came back in 21, you could tell that they had been honing their skills.
Yeah. I felt that way this year too. I felt like coming back after coming back after the spring into the summer and then coming back in the fall after summer after spring and then fall after summer. Both times they didn't have that same dip that they had in previous years. And this New Year's run, the 28th was one of the best nights, right? Which is odd. I don't want to say completely, unexpected, but certainly not the standard.
Right.
I think
Uh,
you and I would probably have this very similar draft. I think it would be hard for us if we had to
right.
do a full draft.
SE, New Year's for me isn't the be all and end all. I mean, it's always cool, but I don't think that makes or breaks a year.
Well, 21 is a pound for pound type, but it's a consistent. Like I said, I don't think it had any individual thing that was so spectacularly special. Although, what was it? Shoreline was in 21 was really freaking good.
The NICU show.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna pull up that tour because I don't want to do it just off of
There was the one
memory.
show that had the fluff head opener that was fantastic. That
Hey,
went
what's up,
into some
Mike's
tight
here?
show. Hey, Jesse.
I love Jesse's bus.
Yeah, Jesse and I almost died together, so I'm like,
Dude, I gotta tell you. I was thinking about you the other day. Or my brother was. He called me. He was driving on 95. They were just traveling for
mhm.
like a family trip and they drove through where you guys almost died. It's still flattened. Like, it's still now. When was that? That was this summer. So 6
Yeah, it
months,
was
8
North
months later.
Carolina show. Wow.
Yeah, it's still completely devastated there. Like, they haven't. I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't like replant all the trees and shit. But like,
Right.
it still looks like a freaking natural disaster.
It was so weird that there was like a circle around us of destruction, and there we were in the car in the middle of the road. Oh man.
Oh yeah, and even Vegas in 21 was really good. That Vegas Ghost was. Oh, I know you had
Best COVID of all summer was at Vegas.
and the Dix was fucking great too. That was a
Yeah,
really
the
good
Dick
Dix.
was.
Solid Dix.
All right. That was only 3 shows, right, that year?
No, that yeah. Yeah.
22 is when they started the 4.
Yeah, it was weird because they ran the tour right into Dix without
Mm,
any break. That's when so Shoreline was moved from Tahoe, right?
yeah.
Lake Tahoe, they had the fires, they moved it. But all right, let me run through this year real quick, because this summer, because this was crazy. I don't know if people give a shit or not, but uh Alabama was or Arkansas was a strong opener as far as openers go. Ended up being probably the weak point of the year, right?
Right.
Just because everything got better.
The Jim Weekapaw was good. They I think that was totally they did not find, they were playing Jim and then all of a sudden they were playing Weekapaw. It was not planned, and I was like, wow, okay, they found some magic the first night.
Oh, I gotta set up a poll and ask people if they hit like, because apparently nobody did. And I want to see the percentage. Yeah, okay. And then they did Alabama, and then Alpharetta was when I think things started to heat up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not gonna do every single song, every single show, but my highlights from that were Deer Creek, Hershey, AC,
Mm-hmm.
the Gorge. Okay, so
Right.
it's almost every single stop. They
The
were
the second night of Nashville was really good. Had
oh
the
for
split open
you.
and melt and the gin ghost or ghost gin. I guess I don't know which way they did it, but they played I don't know. They did an ELO song in there that Fishnet refuses to recognize, but
Yeah.
witchy
It's
woman, no devil woman. She is a devil woman.
and I think maybe there's some like we were so starved for live music, and we like were so pent up and like getting out there. And then also too, it's like a weird dynamic, I think, in this world where like you have like the internet and social media and like connections, right? Because I know not all people do that, but like for us, we built up so many different friendships through the channel and online, that like people that we hadn't really met before during the pandemic when we started to get out there. And so like to finally get to see everybody, right? Like that freaking my first show was the Deer Creek. I guess yours was the Nashville of that
Mhm.
year. But that Deer Creek show, like just seeing everybody, right? Like that was the first time I met Chad in person after talking for 2 years, right? Or Danielle or fucking Father Chris or Tom or all these people. It's just like it added a whole nother level of emotion to it.
Dick's was weird, so weird for me that year because I looked around at one point and everybody I was hanging out with, I didn't know before quarantine.
Right. Including us.
Including you, yeah. It was I had this weird little moment. I was like, this is cool. I found a whole new family. There
It,
you
it
go.
it confuses like people. They're like, because like they assume that we're like we've been buddies forever, right? Because like how often we talk and like everything. I was like, no, I met Kevin T and like Llama and like what 3 years ago.
Right.
It's great though, man. It's fucking
That's
awesome.
great.
All right. How were the Rads last night? You listen to them? They still
I did
got it?
I did they had moments. They had
Yeah.
moments, but they wouldn't let go. Everything was tight. They did like 20 songs, 22 songs or something. They didn't flesh anything out. But there were some moments where in the second set, Ed threw out the set list. Because if you look at the set list, he called quite a few audibles, but it was strange. I don't know. Watching the Rads on the stream is really bizarre for me because I saw them live so many times. It's just I think
How
part of it
come
was
they can
being
figure
there.
out a stream and Bobby and company can't?
Right. They Well, I think what it is Tipitina's already has it set up, but the
Right.
sound was so off. I think Kenny, their sound guy, was mixing for the room.
Yeah,
Because the
probably.
keyboards were really high, Malone's guitar was low in some of it. When he'd switch guitars, it would get louder, so
Yeah, the Radiators, Sully. That's Kevin's. Well, at one point, I don't know if it's still the
I think
case.
Sully knows who they are.
Oh,
And I just got thinking though, it's very strange, and I guess you can't go back. I think there's something to be said the fact that they played 150 nights a year. That they could go. They didn't feel like, all right, we have to play these 60 songs over 3 days because all our fans are coming, and this is it. This is the only time we're playing this year.
yeah. No, that definitely changes the dynamic in set list choice and looseness and playing.
Mhm.
Um, but how did you even get into them though? Like, I was familiar with. I mean, granted, I'm younger, but like, they're always like until I met you, they were always just like a band that people admired, but weren't like the
It,
band, right? Like it was another band that like, oh, I'll go see them if they're around or if I'm around. But like, how did you end up being like that's your band, like where you're like 100%
uh,
locked in with them?
Well, when I was 18, I saw Phish for the first time. I also saw the Radiators at this club called Gators that used to be around
In
here.
Baltimore,
And yeah, Gators, Gators. Um, and it
clever.
was cool when they would come around, I'd see them. But in '95, when I went to Jazz Fest, I went to a night show at Tipitina's, and that's when I was just like, my God, this is just it. This is just it.
Yeah, drank
So
the Kool
that's when
Aid.
it did, and then I started, there was a lot of gatekeeping. You think Phish fans are bad with gatekeeping? Rads fans were tough, but I met some really cool people, and they like started. I got invited to some of the private shows, and then the private shows where they just threw it off. There were,
Yeah,
they were digging deep and deep into the catalog, and it took me, I think, 50 shows before I saw a song that I didn't recognize. It was they played so many different songs. Like every night there was a new song that I had never heard them play. Like the first 50
right.
times.
Okay, I got it. So there was always something fresh.
Right, there was always something fresh, and it took a long time before they played a show where there was something I hadn't heard. And they're one of the few bands besides Phish and Los Lobos that has hundreds and hundreds of covers and a catalog of originals that's that deep too.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that. I like that you had that. I want to correct you though, just because I think it's interesting. I don't actually think, and maybe this is the bad take. I don't think fans are terrible with gatekeeping. I think Phish fans online, on like message boards
Right,
and on
right.
social media are. It's actually one of the things I really got attracted to with this community up front. Besides like the music and the nerdism, was how welcoming and warm and like down with whatever everybody was, right? Like I
Mhm.
remember the first few shows I went to and everybody was just like fucking welcome, like let's do this. They're like whatever, right? Like if you're got your quirkiness or your difference, like everybody just seemed to be like there for the bliss. It wasn't until like years and years and years later in like oh 09, 10, 11, 12, like those years where like Twitter and Facebook and all the groups and shit, then it became like, oh, you know,
Right.
I'm a
But
better fan than you and all that other shit.
right, and it's also the click thing. You know how Fish has all their little. That was totally the Rads had crews. Me and this guy Jacques started the crew of Degenerate because one of the leaders of the other crews called him a degenerate, and we were like, we should start our own crew, kind of like Wook Plus. We were like, everybody's welcome to our crew, you know.
Yeah, I always thought of Wook Plus as just like everybody's welcome, we hang out with everybody type of thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
crew of dads, Timothy. Definitely. There were the moms who were the first and the dads, and then we had the crew of Snafu. There was the guys out in California, I forget their name. We had the Ardmore crew up there, the county line guys. I mean, there were lots of, and the Rads for a
that's so
few years
weird though. That's like
survived on private parties,
is it
like
like
6 or 7.
official? Is that like an official thing? Like is there like registrations or something? Or is it
No,
just like
no.
the people you
They
hung out with?
right.
It's like
They
now you
start
have like the pencil people or like the banana people or other phallic yellow object people. right? Like that's the idea. It's just like it just happens.
Right. Well, the crew of moms started in New Orleans because there was a bunch of people who had nowhere to go on Thanksgiving, is where that
Oh,
originally
that's
started. And
cool.
part of the band was in it. So it was just kind of like a let's hang out at the bar on Thanksgiving night kind of thing. And then it developed into a Mardi Gras crew, and they did a ball every year during Mardi Gras and things like that. And then the guys in Minnesota that Timothy mentioned, the dads were like, hey, we want to have a party for Halloween. And so they started doing every year, having the crew of dads present the Radiators and did a Halloween show. And
That's Phish is a crew of dads.
yes, well, dad stands for degenerates and or deviants and derelicts, I think, is what it stood for. Mom
There's
stood for mystics, orphans, and misfits.
I was just picturing like soccer moms, like with cardigans, getting fucked up at
They
tips.
almost didn't let me into a show once, the crew of moms, because my costume wasn't explicit enough. And I was Braveheart one. I dressed up in full regalia, had my face painted blue, and I had this huge dildo hanging underneath the
And it
skirt.
wasn't explicit enough.
And it wasn't explicit enough. I had to like pull it up. I had a string, and you could pull it up so it like lifted the skirt.
Right.
But I mean, there were people walking around completely naked, stuff like that. One guy who had a blow up doll tied to him. You know, it was just
Is there any
bizarre.
footage of any of this or picture? I feel like there's a doc here. Like even if you know nothing about the Reds, I feel like the cruise and the fandom and the history of it. I feel like that would be a really interesting fucking documentary to check out. We should talk about
I,
that.
I I've tried to get Dave to talk to me, and he's like, "Nah, man, I don't remember any of that stuff." I was like, "Man,
No,
we're gonna
yeah, we'd
lose
have to
all
do
this
it.
history."
I think we could talk to people though. Cast a net, see who has what. Shit, Tim was just saying that he's on it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, what else? Did you watch J-Rad? You were saying you caught some of that? Oh no. Connection.
Yes, they were very rock and roll.
Ah, there
Did
you go.
did I skip again?
No, it might have been
Am I
me.
there?
One of us did. I think we're good. You're good.
Right. They did Lagrange. They did Gloria for
Nice.
the encore. They were very rock and roll, dirty power chords. I was loving it.
Yeah. I always like catching Joe. I think Joe's a good
Yeah.
guy, stand-up guy.
I
Great
got to
drummer
see
too.
some of the Humphreys. Their
With
first tour
Chris,
back with Chris.
how's Chris sounding? He
Chris,
is I heard him on New Year's. He sounded good, but I didn't know if he was gonna have the what do you call that? The endurance, the
uh, he does.
longevity coming back. He's
Yeah,
good.
he has robo shoulder. He said he had a robo shoulder now.
Yeah.
I know Fishman is your top pick, but I think Chris Myers might be the best in the business at drums.
Stamina, thank you. Yeah, stamina. That's the right word. Well, for what they do, I agree. Right? Like as far as like no, well, I say I agree. I don't think he's the best in the business, but he is exceptional at what they do. There's hyper precise math rock, the even tone. See, with that kind of drumming, every time you hit a specific component, whether it's your ride or a tom or snare, it needs to have the exact same approach and tone and timbre. Like you have to hit it the same velocity, right? Because if you have, hey, welcome, Megan. You are now part of the Wook crew. Welcome. Because if you have slight variations, and that's what I noticed with Ben. Ben's more of a groove drummer. He puts feel into it, which is great if you're doing it, but it detracts from the math rock. You almost need to sound like a computer when you're doing Humphreys because it's like every crack of the snare needs to be exactly the same. And I think Chris has that down where he just knows how to hit his drums and he has so much control. Whereas like Phish is the opposite. He's like fluid and like he's like little waves rippling over the drums, and I don't think any two notes he ever plays sound exactly the same. There's just a slight difference, which I think both are, valuable and talent. They're both shit I can't do, but for that, I think Chris is super talented. There should be a join button.
You have to be on a PC. You cannot be on your phone and do it.
Well, you got to be
reason.
on the website, not the app. I don't want to say devices because there's like lots of different ways. But if you're on your phone or on your TV, you probably have to go onto like an iPad or a computer. But yeah, there should be a join button, and it's only $3, $2 a month, and we hugely appreciate it.
I'll walk you through it later, Jesse. Yes, Wizard Burial Ground, Eric, is a fantastic song. Just
Yeah.
I get to see the Humphreys on my birthday, so
I
I'm
can't believe they're
hoping to.
touring already. That's crazy. Do they always play that often
Yeah,
and
they
that
always
early?
do. Yeah, winter tour. They always do a winter tour.
That's great. I mean, it's kind of like desolate right now. There's not a lot going on, so it's
Well,
big
we got
open
Spafford.
ocean.
Spafford's out there. I think Pigeons picks up in a week or two.
I like pigeons.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
I mean, I don't
Pigeons
know
are
if
fun.
they're the kind of music that I would like just throw on and listen to when I'm like hanging out. But being there, I've caught them a couple times. It's so much fun. It's like just high energy, fun, dancey jam music. I think they're an underrated jam band. I don't think they
Yeah,
get enough credit.
their new single, the name's escaping me, but if you go to their website or look on YouTube, is a little bit different. It has the vocal is a little more subdued. Greg isn't like full on like he is funk singer kind of
Yeah,
thing with it. So it's interesting that they're moving to maybe a more you know, tonal kind of thing, or what do
they're
you call that?
evolving.
Yes, which you should.
You should, but you got to be subtle too. I think. I feel like the bands that like take hard left turns or whatever and abandon where they come from, that's where you run into issues. It's like you got to keep adding to your repertoire, but not forget where you came from and why people like you in the first place. You know?
I get you with that, Scully. They do seem cartoony.
Yeah. Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
I think I have no problem with it. I liken it to like the Parliament Funkadelic thing, where it was all larger than life and comic. You know,
Yeah. And I think that's like the fun party C-list festival band, right? Where you're just kind of like they're not the headliner that you're going to see, but you're happy when you catch them and
Mm,
you're gonna have a good time, I think.
yeah,
Kind of
you know,
reminds me of like P-Funk too. Remember P-Funk?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, every one of Pigeon's albums has a P for the name.
Oh, really?
Pizzazz, perspective.
So you know more about them than I do.
Well, they're local. You know, they all went to Maryland just like I did, so we all went to the same college.
Um, I don't know. It depends if Kimok is playing with Goose and Goose is playing mostly just festivals this year. It's going to be
Right.
interesting to see how that goes. See, you were saying that like my Gordon band doesn't tour a lot, so it's probably not a conflict. Again, this is speculation, hearsay, and rumors. But if that rumor is true, I think they actually fly in the same circuit and like shows a lot, right?
Right.
Well,
Or
maybe that's where they were.
they're both bands are on the same bill. Foo Fighters had the Drums of the Stone Age guy drumming for him. So all the festivals Foo Fighters played at last summer also had Queens of the Stone Age on the bill.
Right. There's nothing saying you can't play with two bands at the same festival. It's actually a great gig for him.
Right.
Double dip.
Money, money, money.
Oh, is this why you have to dip early today? Are they
No,
playing?
they don't play till next week. No, Amanda scheduled something at 11.
It's all right. I think we're approaching the end.
Right. I do not know about anything about Madonna except when I was 11 and heard like a virgin. I asked my mother what a virgin was, and she got red and didn't want to tell me. So I knew that I liked Madonna.
Madonna. Yeah, she's awesome. I guess. I don't know. All right, guys. This was fun. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back Tuesday with the Wook Club. And then
94?
Wednesday night. Yeah, 94. I haven't
Toronto.
listened yet. I might listen today. I got some housework to do. I'll give it. Oh yeah, Canada for Wook Club. That'll be fun. And then Wednesday
Love you
night we'll be
guys.
back with Liv.